I'm really excited to talk with the brilliant, really smart, really caring, heart of gold, Nancy Sabino. She is the CEO and co-founder of Sabino CompTech, and I want to share with you kind of her journey in getting from where she was, which she'll talk about in a minute, to where she is now. And the interesting thing is that we're just getting started. We've been together working I think like 2, maybe 3 months now, and we're going to be together for a year. So I am really excited. She's made so many brave moves and has gotten some really good results that I want to give her an opportunity to share with you what it's been like. Because the thing is, a lot of people end up suffering in silence. They think that they're the only one. And so either they try to figure out how to make things happen on their own because they want to feel like they've got it all together. And asking for help can be vulnerable and scary, but it takes a certain type of person to go out there and ask for the help. And I'm so glad that Nancy did that and that she allowed me to come into her world to help her go from good to better to great. So Nancy, tell us what's your jam? What are you doing in this world? How are you making an impact?
I am the co-founder and CEO of Sabino CompTech, which is a outsourced IT department for small and medium-sized businesses. Essentially, we come in and completely take over all of your IT needs from the very top, performing like a CIO, all the way to the everyday help desk support.
Why don't you start us with what was going on for you when we started talking? What was your challenge and how was it affecting you?
Being in a business where I continuously have to talk to people, and if I want to grow my business, which I do, I have to gain visibility and put myself out there. I was really frozen in fear, and I was at a point where I felt like I needed to do something in order to get over or overcome this struggle within myself in order to help my business grow and to be able to help other people. So that's where I met you, and I decided I need to do this. I can't do this on my own. I've tried it. I've been there, done that, and it didn't help. And so that's when you came into my life and completely like, we pushed all these things out. And I know we're not done yet. And that's part that's the most exciting, is already seeing the results 2 months in and feeling like, holy moly, we're going to get to do so much. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about that too.
So this is something that you had been challenged with for a while. What was the aha moment for you that made you realize, oh, I need to do something, and I need to do something now?
I knew the potential, and I knew that there's so much more that I can do. There's so much more that I can give. And I'm being stopped or blocked by my own self. And this is absolutely crazy to me because it didn't make any sense. Why do I feel so much potential and so much power coming out of me, but I can't let it out? In the times that I had tried on my own, I felt like there was definitely little bits that seeped out, but it was never, the fear always came back. And so it was always like a pressure coming back on me. What made me seek help was the fact that I felt like a teapot. There's all this pressure being built up inside because I feel like I'm fighting against my own potential. So I got to the point, just like a teapot, where I'm like steaming out and I'm screaming inside of myself to be let out.
I remember one of the things that you had shared with me was your experience with meeting people in tech. There's not a lot of people who come from your background, right? Like being a woman of color. And I remember this one story that you had shared with me about how somebody had wondered whether you were the boss or the CEO.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of stories when it involves something like that, constantly being questioned or overlooked. The expectation was never for me to be the lead or the boss or the CEO. It was always who I was with and or looking for someone else or doubting my skills because I am a woman. I've had someone straight up tell me during a sales meeting, like, how can I trust that you can actually take care of my IT, because you don't see many women in IT. I was flabbergasted by the question. My answer at the time was, I think my 10 plus years in the industry could speak for itself. It's definitely things like that that kind of break you down and get you to a point where you start self-doubting and you start thinking, can I actually do this? Am I actually right for this? So all of those things.
And you were someone who felt really confident about your skills. So tell us about that discrepancy.
That's kind of where the feeling of I have so much potential and so much to give comes from, is knowing that I have these skills and being fully confident in that, but then also having anxiety around them as well. So that's for sure. It was always like, I know I can help you, just let me help you. And then at the same time feeling like there's this gap between communication or what's being actually seen or something like that.
So you knew that there was a lot that you can do to help people.
Yes.
But how you put that out there in a way that made you feel confident and exuded respect and belief in your abilities, that presented you as the person who is the boss, the CEO, the leader here, and competent. That sounds like that was a challenge.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember sitting in meetings, meeting new business owners or presidents, CEOs of companies that I was basically prospecting or in a sales meeting type of scenario, and feeling like I have so many ideas already as to how we can improve your business, but it not coming out in a way that they could see it or feel it, because I was anxious. And in those meetings, even though I had the ideas or the thoughts of like, I want to help you, I can help you, there's so much that we can do here in order to improve your business, what was coming out was, at least in my head, was, I'm scared. I'm scared to talk to you. I'm scared to even bring out those ideas. Those are the things that needed to change within me, was how I was presenting myself, how I was talking about myself, my company, what we've done, what we can do, and things like that. So the confidence level was not the same on the outside as it was on the inside.
Yeah. What has changed? How long did it take for it to get to this point? What was it that helped make that happen?
I think the biggest change has been the external pride that I show when I'm talking about myself, my skills, what I've accomplished, and what my company does and what my company has accomplished. That has been, I feel like, a complete 180. And of course, there's days where it's still tough and still like gets to me kind of thing. But that's 100% what has changed, and to the point where now I need to talk about what I do. I need to talk about what I can do for you. And so there's that power that I was talking about that I felt was trapped, is coming out. And that's what's changed 100% since we started to work together. And it went from being, I was terrified to talk about, like, just do something that's completely normal to other people, which is like an online meeting, a face-to-face, a live video. I was absolutely terrified of doing that. And now I'm doing one on a regular basis. Not only that, but then I've put myself out there even more. So doing podcast interviews. I got a new client because of all of this, and our second largest client to date, which is amazing.
How would you describe that process different from the past?
I felt like I belonged, and I felt like it was completely like, not only do I belong at your table, but I have my own table, and you can join my team and I can help your business. And that's really what the difference was. And so also realizing, like, I can also use all of these tools and things that I've learned and other areas that I'm putting myself in order to help me build that confidence and get clients. And so those are the differences, is realizing I can bring all of these things together that will help me help other people.
Even as you were working with putting yourself out there and acquiring your second largest client to date, there's still kind of like this process of multiple steps, like the initial contact, the setting up the meeting, the sharing your proposal or your ideas, and then waiting to hear back. And then, okay, well, I got to think about it, or let me check with this first. Talk to us about how that process of anticipation, because it's not something that just you go into a meeting and then boom, everything happened. No. Especially since one of the things that was, difficult for you is navigating the anxious feelings. How was that different this time with the unknown, the uncertainty?
So this time around, it was more of a sense of, if it happens, great. And we're going to do everything we can to make this successful. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. Then we can literally learning or realizing no now isn't no forever. It's when else can we speak, or talking about like making it a learning experience in the sense of like boldly asking, like, why didn't you hire me? What could I have done differently? Anything like that, so that I can take that information and adjust. So those were some of the differences, is realizing it's not going to make or break me. It's not going to affect me in such a negative way that it will paralyze me. I can keep going, and whether it's this client, there will be more. So the mindset has changed in the sense of, that's okay. Whatever happens, it's okay. And we're just going to keep on going.
Yeah, that sense of detachment from the outcome actually put you in a place where you weren't so worried about whether or not it happened. Mm-hmm. And so you naturally showed up as your best self without allowing anxiety to get in the way, and portray yourself or speak up in a way that showcases the goods that you've got and that can help your clients. So yeah, definitely detaching from that. You've also won a couple awards and been nominated for a couple things. Tell us about that.
Yes. So one, I was featured in a magazine, Latino Leaders. So that was something that was really cool. That's happened since you and I started working together.
Is that the one that I nominated you for?
Yes. Okay, yes, good. It was. So that was really cool. It was a great experience to be able to showcase some of my expertise, and also within our community. So it was cool. The other thing is I was nominated for 40 Under 40, and so that's super exciting. And again, I don't know if I made it on the list, or if I did. That's not what matters. I got some really awesome letters of referral for the list, and I think that within itself was a win, was those letters.
And you were able to take in what everybody said.
Yes. Oh, yes. And actually feel like, holy crap, that's me. Can I say crap?
Yes, you can say whatever you want.
Feeling like that, exactly how I am perceived by these people that sent out these letters, is exactly, it matches what I feel or have felt that I wasn't able to let out previously.
That's beautiful. And so how do you feel now being at this place?
I feel like I'm at the very beginning of where we can go, where I can go. I am now open and willing to accept opportunities that before terrified me completely. And it was a terror in the sense of like, I want it, but I don't. And now it's I want it, and what else?
Yes, I see this a lot, where it's like, yes, I want it. I want to grow. I want to make a bigger impact. I want to move up. Oh, I'm scared. Mm-hmm. What if I fail? What if I get rejected? What if I succeed but then can't handle it? What if I make a mistake? All these things. Yeah. And it's just so beautiful to see how you're allowing the opportunities to come, and also putting yourself out there to 10x the growth that you're experiencing now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So for me, the feeling of being afraid of success was greater than the fear of anything else. And realizing that some of the things that were tied to that feeling of fear of success were stemming from past experiences from not who I am today and not the situation that I'm in today, but previous ones. And so learning to see that for what it was, box it up, tie it up, leave it, and then being like, okay, can I actually handle the success that will come from it? Will things change? Yes. Can I adapt to those changes? Yeah, I sure can. And so knowing that, realizing that, feeling that has allowed me to like okay, I am ready for it. I can handle it. And if I get thrown something that is a complete surprise and I didn't anticipate, then I will maneuver around that too. And then I'll keep going because that's what I am looking for.
Yeah, and you have been thinking so much bigger. You even want to go global. Tell us about that opportunity that came up.
Yeah, so so the company that we hired, or that hired us, look at me, we hired. That's all that confidence, right? The company that hired us.
See, look, can I pause you right there?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, fear is, the goal is not to be fearless or mistake proof. It's that when something happens, you're able to pivot, catch it, and move on more quickly, and it affects you less. And so the frequency and the intensity of how you feel in the moment when you are on camera, and then you maybe say the wrong thing, or like me, sometimes I stutter, it doesn't stop me. And I love seeing that you were able to just move forward, even though I don't even remember what you said anymore, but that's beautiful. I love it.
And that is something new as well, because I would have previously completely stopped and been like, oh no, I messed up and I'm sorry, and then backed away, and then felt like I can't do this, or I don't want to do this. And instead I'm like, let's go. Keep going.
Yes.
That's okay. People make mistakes. I forgot what I was saying.
You're going global at some point.
Yes. So currently our business is local, and something was mentioned from this client that they have other subsidiaries in other countries. And so that immediately, again, would have been a fear in the sense of like, oh my God, would we be able to handle something like that? And now it's like no, I'm finding out how to test this. How are we going to be able to do that? And when
It's just
are
a
we
matter
going to
of
go?
time, baby.
It's just a matter of time. And that's exactly how I'm feeling, and realizing like, this is going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Oh, I love that. So what made you decide for us to work together?
Seeing your background in psychology. And so I think that was one of the major aspects to it, because I knew that a lot of what was holding me back was anxiety. And so realizing that I needed someone that would understand the fact that I'm going to be anxious through this process. And how do I work with the anxiety in order to still accomplish what I want to accomplish? And so knowing that you had those expertise along with the business expertise, that you would be the perfect coach for me. Knowing that you were going to call me out on my BS when I needed you to. Do I get angry about it? Sure. Do I let myself process it? Yes. And that doesn't stop you from telling me the things I need to hear. And so that was immediately, and you did this from day one before we even started working together. And that's kind of what made me realize, like, yes, this is the woman for me. This is going to be my coach, because that's exactly what I need.
I love that. It's been such a joy working with you so far, and I'm excited to continue for the rest of our time. So how would you describe my style?
It is very hands-on. It is, you're, like I was saying, you are no BS. You're going to push me in the moments that I need to be pushed, but in a gentle way, understanding and knowing like I will still need a hug at the end of a rough day or that kind of thing. You're a cheerleader, as well as all the ideas and the ideas and the advice that I wouldn't have thought of, that no one else has really thought of with other people that I've worked with before, that make the difference. And they're sometimes small adjustments, and sometimes they're large, like, spaces or steps that make a difference in what I need to do. And so that's kind of like the style that I'm actually grateful for, because it's almost like you anticipate my needs without me even knowing it or realizing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's like how would I describe it? I'm not psychic, I'm a psychologist, but it's like I just know. Like, I mean, I just know. I just know. I think about you. I think about where you're at, where you've been, and where you want to go. And as things pop up, I'm like, oh, let me send this to her. I know she would like this. So that's exciting that you're open and receptive to my ideas.
Oh yeah, and sometimes sometimes I have a feeling that you are in my head, because it literally becomes like, I was thinking about this, and I have a message that comes up from you, and you're saying, hey, I was thinking about this for you. What do you think? And I'm like, that's exactly where I started to think about. So, how did you know?
That's funny. So this work that we've been doing, would you describe it as easy, difficult? How would you describe it?
It's
If
it's not easy. It has been, limits have been pushed, expanded on, and it has been, some items have felt down and dirty is the best way that I can explain it. Like, we had to get in the mud, and then there's times where it's like the ladder has to be climbed and you have to keep going. And so I'm sweating, and I'm like, I can't go on, and you're like right behind me pushing me, no, you can do it, you can do it. And then it has not been easy, but it has been like an experience for sure. Something that it's equally as rewarding to the tough moments, to get to the points of aha moments. It's literally like they even themselves out for sure.
oh, got it. Yeah. And what would you say were some thoughts that you had about whether or not for us to work together? Like, because like you said, it's not easy. You have to really be committed to improving yourself and making a lifelong transformative change that doesn't just apply to the problem at hand, but that you
Mm.
can apply pretty much to any aspect of your life, not just with the current issue, but for future ones as well. But did anything come up for you there that you were maybe thinking about, maybe I shouldn't do this?
Yeah, for sure. It was all a sense of like, am I actually ready for this? Am I ready to do the work that it's going to take? Am I ready to face some of my biggest fears? Am I ready to face some of the blocks that I consciously or unconsciously knew were there? So it was definitely like, am I ready to be the Kool-Aid woman and or break through some walls? And that's essentially what was some of the things that were like, ugh, I really, can I really, do I have the time, energy, willpower in order to make this happen?
Got it. And so you have to be in a place where the pain of staying the same is not as big as the desire to make a bigger impact, to grow, to evolve.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. See, I went
What?
from being the teapot to the Kool-Aid woman.
Ah, what about any concerns about the investment that it would take financially?
That was also a concern, in the sense of, am I willing to make that investment? Am I willing to put my money where my mouth is, kind of deal? And it at first it was definitely very scary. A sticker shock, I could say. It was a moment of, am I actually ready? And then realizing, if I don't do this now, if I don't make this investment in myself, then how can I expect other people to do so as well? And so that's kind of where it was like, whatever the cost, whatever it's going to take, it's worth the investment, because that way, when I present myself wholly and fully, I know that others will want to invest in me, and therefore this investment in myself is absolutely worth it 100%.
Yeah. Did you think, well, what if this doesn't work for me?
Oh yeah, just like any other investment, the idea of I can lose the investment because it's not going to work or it won't be for me. And so that is scary, but that's one of the things that, one, sometimes you don't know until you try. Two, realizing that this is also something that it's not just up to you, the coach, it's up to the individual. So like, how much work are you willing to put in to get your money's worth? And I definitely had seen it that way as well, and I'm sure I had those feelings, but it was more so of a like, but really, because this is an investment for me, I have to make it worth it for myself.
Yeah. So if somebody has a lot going on, let's say they're you're busy too, but it seems like you made it happen, and maybe they have kids. How could you help them decide whether this is something they should do or not?
Well, yes, I am busy. I have kids. I have a teenager and a preteen, so I sometimes feel like they take up more time and attention than younger kids now. But what I ended up thinking was, if I don't make the time investment in myself, then I'll never do it. And there will always be something that will come up that's more important than myself. And I'm the type of person, like I'm sure many women are, we tend to put others before ourselves. So this was the time that I was like, you know what? Everybody else is going to have to understand that I need this in order to be my best self for everybody else. So you'll have to work with me. You'll have to work on my schedule in order for me to fit this in, because if I don't, then I don't know where we're going to be. We're going to be stuck in a hamster wheel going round and round and round, and I can't do that anymore. So I found the time, I made the time in order to make this work.
From your perspective, who should consider seeing if I'm the right person to help them?
Entrepreneurs, executives, CEOs, or any professional that is ambitious, that wants or feels that power that I was talking about earlier on, that you just don't know how to let it out. Fear is stopping you like it was stopping me, or that is feeling lost at the moment, like how I have accomplished so much, but I don't know how to make it to the next level. I don't know where else I need to go or what else I need to do. Because those are all feelings that I felt. It was like, sure, I've done all of these things, but can I do more? Do I want to do more? And is that the right step for me? So if you're even questioning whether you want to do more or not, that's the right people for you. That would gain a lot of benefit from working with you is, those women that are like, can I? Should I? Because my answer is yes. We need more powerful women out there, and in every single industry. And if you are at a point where you're like, I don't know, or this is as far as I've gotten, or I don't see other women above me, so can I actually do that? And it's like, yes, absolutely. But maybe you need a coach to help you get there. And maybe you need Dr. Lizette to help you get there, because for me, that was it.
I adore you.
I adore you.
Wow. I'm really glad that we crossed paths. You are so open, so willing to try new things, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, sometimes a lot of uncomfortable. And so I really value that you've trusted me to guide you in becoming this better, bigger version of yourself, so that the inside matches what you put on the outside and that what people see. You actually do the work, so that makes a big difference. So I just tell you, like, I think you should do this. Why don't you try that? And you're on it. And I'm like, oh, that was fast. So that's a really important key. You've got to be an action taker.
Quite honestly, I feel like sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm there yet, or I don't know if I want to do this at this moment, or I'm already doing so much. I start to feel like the excuses coming up and some of that negativity coming back. And then I have Dr. Lizette in my mind, and she's like, girl, what are you doing this week? How are you playing small? And I'm like, fine, I'll get this done. I will make the time. I will figure it out. And then boom, I do it. And I'm like, yes, thanks, Dr. Lizette. I knew I could do this. You knew I could do this. See how quickly it changes from feeling like, I don't know if I can, to I knew I could. I am all about women empowerment. And I am a firm believer that we need more women in leadership positions across industries and businesses of different sizes and so on and so forth. So if fear is stopping you, if the unknown is stopping you, if family is stopping you, if people telling you, hey, I don't think you can do it, whatever is stopping you from filling the shoes that are necessary in our country, around the world, because quite honestly, look at what's going on and the leadership that we have in position today in politics and business across the world, and realize that you are needed. If you can't figure that out for yourself, having a coach will help you get there. And so make that investment, because you are needed in this world. So that is the message that I leave. Fill those shoes, because we need it.
I'm glad that you're filling yours.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what else is next.
The world.